upon him, never told us how old Aisha was at the time of marriage. Okay? So I just want to clarify these things when I get to my answer, right?
Yeah, sure.
So it's not something in the Quran or in the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, right?
Sure.
Aisha radiyallahu anha has some ahadith where she mentions and she gives her ages. But again, some of those even have a slight distinction because she's not reporting something she saw, right? Now, what is important is that she was already engaged to be married when the Prophet's proposal came. So that means according she was already, before the Prophet even approached her, she was engaged. Okay? Secondly, hold on, I'm getting to it. Listen, all right? You're doing good, all right? Secondly, there we are. Secondly, if you look at the context of it, he did not marry her right away. He waited until she was physically and mentally mature according to the customs of the time.
What age do you believe that is?
I don't know exactly, to be honest, because as I said, Aisha didn't give different ages. Her sister gave a calculation that came up with different ages. But what I can tell you is that nobody objected to it in the time. And they waited to consummate the marriage until she was physically and mentally ready. So at what age can you get married?
I believe it's 18.
I don't know. Yeah. You're Australian, not me, right? But in America, for example, in some states you can get married at 16. In some states, until a few years ago, you could get married at 14. If you look at Delaware, right, until a few years ago, you could get married at 7. Right? Yeah, again, you would say that's not right, but that's called presentism. You're judging a society by today's standards. Even in Australia, if you go home and Google it, in the earlier days, maybe even less than 100 years ago, you would have people getting married at 10, 11, 12, 7, 9, whatever, because at that time, you didn't have people going to school, you didn't have high school, middle school, so when a physical body was ready, when a woman would have, for example, her period, and it would show that she's physically ready for marriage, okay, so then Aisha radhiyallahu anha got married at an age where she was physically ready. Aisha radhiyallahu anha got married at an age where she was physically ready. So then you agree with that?
I agree.
Good. Okay. What age would it make it okay?
Okay. Great questions.
Good.
I would say at least 16's really pushing. I would say
Really?
18.
18?
Because
what's your basis for that?
because until you're we're always mentally developing, but until you're at almost your potential of being mentally developed, that's when you can really make the decision.
18.
Especially when marriage is a lifelong thing, a lifelong commitment. They shouldn't be making that at 9. Like,
your name is Cole. Wait till they're 18 to get married, and they're gonna die at 22, 23, for example. And there are places and times. Then are you saying nobody's gonna raise their kids?
No, that's a great point.
Thank you.
That's a great point.
Good point.